Welcome, guys, to my new series, and this is more going to be about HTML, and I'll probably include some CSS and some JavaScript into this. So I'll teach you guys everything that you need to know and how to actually start. So let's get on with this. So firstly, I recommend using VS Code. That's probably the best. So you can literally just go on the browser, search up VS Code, and just install VS Code. You can also do it in other apps as Notepad and other stuff, but I think this is just the best because you have everything in one place. So once you've installed VS Code and you've pretty much done all the tutorials, you'll get to this page. Okay, so once you're on this page, what we can do is, firstly, let me get you guys to this cool new extensions. You want to go into the extension tab, and we want to go to live preview, and we'll let it to load. And I recommend using this one, and you literally, it's really good for HTML because you can just put the page that you're literally writing the HTML for onto the same page as you. So you can have your code on one side and your HTML on the other side. So make sure to install this, and then once you've done that, we can start creating a folder. So to create a folder, what we will do is you go open folder, and let's say I'm gonna go here, coding, and say we want to make a new folder, and we'll do tutorial, and we're gonna use this folder, and we're gonna select this folder. So once you're here, we're gonna basically close this part, and you see how we got on our tab here, we got tutorial. So you can click new file, I'm gonna say index.html. Boom. And this basically just says that every time it starts a HTML file, it will always refer to the index. So that's gonna be your first one. Our lovely ID. So we can firstly start off by actually making sure that the computer knows that this is a HTML file. So we'll say doc type space HTML, and this is just basically telling the web browser that this is a HTML file. So we can go down and we can talk about making this all inbound into a HTML file. So we can do it like this, and very nice, very nice. And this is just where we're going to put all our HTML code, because normally how we normally do stuff is we have CSS and we got JavaScript as well, and this just makes sure that the basic ID knows that we're talking about HTML here. So okay, we'll just do a bit of space so it's less confusing. We can then make a head file. So we've got a head file. Let me go up a bit, and then we can also make a body file. How this works is that we got our HTML headers. Well, they're not really called headers, they're called tags. And what these tags mean is everything that you put inside of them, that's the content that's going to be outputted of that tag. So with the HTML tag, we got this is a HTML. And then if we got the header tags, this is what our browser title is going to be. So the part where you have where your tabs are, that's what the head tags are. Then we can move on to the body, and the body is where the actual main, all your data and interactive stuff, that's where you put the body stuff in. So we can first talk about having a title for our header. So we can say this, and we can say Cassian's website. Yeah, cool. Now if we leave it like this, we're just gonna get pretty much a plain browser that says Cassian website right where the tab is. So let me show you guys how to do this. So basically what we want to do is we first want to make our preference of our web browser that we're going to actually go into as whatever one you want. So let's go into file, preferences, settings, then we'll go down to extensions, and then in extensions find live preview. And here you'll find in live preview, you're gonna find whatever one you want to do. So I'm gonna put Chrome as my one because that's just what I prefer. But you can put whatever one you want. And then you can just exit out. And now once you've done that, you can now just go on to show preview. And here we got our show preview, and we clearly have nothing, but as I said before, we have Cassian websites right at the top. So that's pretty nice. So let's actually give ourselves some actual writing in our white text box. But firstly, I want to tell you guys about what these are. So as I said before, this is a tag, and basically the whole thing here is a tag element. And that's just basically everything inside the tag. So here we have the title, and our tag element is title, Cassian's website title. But now, so we've got our head title, our head tags, and we got our title. Now we can talk about going inside our body. So we'll firstly indent, and we'll talk about we can talk about H1, and this is basically um, the biggest fonted header. So if I was going to type in, say, Cassian is the best, we got Cassian is the best. And this is the biggest title, like biggest font that you can get. And say if I copy and pasted this, so I did that. And then I put, instead of this, I put H2, and I closed it with a H2. And then we'll indent this again. I'll put this as H3. And as you can see, it goes smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually gets to the H6, which I'm pretty sure is the smallest one. Yeah, correct. Then we can talk about our P tags. And basically what P tags is literally just the paragraph tags. So this is where you can write a bunch of text, and it's like if you were into an English exam, you write short paragraphs. Cool. Yeah. And then when we talk about P tags, by the way, we always want closing tags. That's what we always want. And inside our P tags, we can either say I am amazing, and then and it goes forever. This is what we normally use P tags for. Or we can just let our machine do just random text. So if you do lorem and then tab, it will give us just this. I can't even describe it. It's just randomly generated words. For some reason, mine's in Spanish, but we move. Now, just for a bit of formatting, I'll give you guys this tag. And this one you don't actually need to close. So we can just do, actually we'll do it underneath here. So underneath, like say your first header, so underneath Cassian is the best, we can basically just add in BR, and it'll just give it an extra line break. So you can use this if you ever we just wanna give ourselves a bit more lines, or if we're doing a list and we wanna do a break, then we can use that. So you can carry on going like this, BR, and it'll just carry on making lines. Cool. So apart from this, we can also give ourselves, we can separate our data. So when we have this, you see Cassian is the best and then Cassian is the best. What happens if we ever want to format our website so that we can just separate them two so it's more clear than just having spaces in between? We can do this by just doing HR. And what HR does, as you can see, is it gives us the nice line and makes it just a lot nicer, and it's better for the eye than just guessing what's going on. Then we can also move on to, say if you're working inside a group or a team, we can talk about adding comments. And with these comments, we can literally just say tag, and we can make a exclamation mark, double tag, and then you end it with a double tag right triangle thing. Yeah, cool. So in there you can say this this talks about Cassian being amazing. And as you can see, it doesn't actually print off, like if we were to run this, well, it's already running as you type in the stuff. It's not going to actually print on there. It's literally just as you would use it in Python, where you would just comment so any other person on your team can understand what's going inside your code. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about hyperlinks when, say, if you want to do buttons or just have a text and when you click on it, you get put to any other place using a link. So first, you can say Google as our little text, and we can then say, what can we say? We can put it inside a tag, and inside the a tag we can do this and close the a tag. Then we can say href, and we can say equals to let's do the, what should we do? We should do the we'll do google.com. So www.google.com. Nice, everyone knows Google. This is what we're going to use. Then we can basically say target equals underscore blank. We can close it, and when we close it, we go like this, and it'll take us to Google. And then basically, let me change it so it looks just a little bit nicer. So we've got Google, and then yeah. And basically, what this does is href will give you the link of your desired tab, and then target underscore blank will basically go to, it'll open up that link in a different browser. So you've probably experienced it before, where you tap on a link and it'll pretty much take you to a different browser. But now if you put self, so underscore self, what this will basically do is just use the same browser. So if I click on Google, it will take you into the same browser. I don't think you guys can see it, but take my word. So now that we got this part done, I can show you one more bit of it, and we can talk about when you hover over your Google, as you can see, nothing happens. But if I put title, and you can do title, this link takes you to Google. When I now hover over Google, it should say this link takes you to Google, and it does. So we know that it works. We can now then show you how to basically take you to a file that you want to get taken to. So instead of let's say Google here, we can open up file, so this one here, and we can then we'll keep that there. Inside our tutorial file, we can say new file, and we can say page2.html. And basically what we can do here, you can do exclamation mark, and you can tab that, and it'll already give you a pre-written blank document basically. And inside here we can say we can do it a h tag, a header file, a header tag, and we can say h tag, and we can split it again, and we can basically just say this is page 2. That's pretty nice. If I can show you this one here, we'll say this page 2, very nice. And say if I go back to our index one, so if we press our little thing over here, we can basically change the HTML link over here where it says href, and say page2.html as it says over here. And now instead of Google, we can say if it's going to let me, next page, and we can just now, when we click it, instead of taking us to google.com, it will just take us to the page that we wrote onto before. So now lastly, we can now talk about how we want to email somebody else. So when we go about this, we can name it to email this address, and instead of having page2.html here, by the way, we can delete this, we don't need it no more. We can now say a random email. So say if I want to put Cassian at gmail.com, and now instead of basically just sending me to a different website or whatever, now when I click this email this address, it will just take your link to emailing the address. So instead of this link takes you to Google, you can say this link emails Cassian at gmail.com. So this will probably be the wrap for episode 1 of my HTML series, and later on we'll talk about CSS and JavaScript so you can make your own website. And what I'd like you guys to do is basically just follow along with me as I do this, and of course please like and just put a random comment as well in there, just so that it can help the YouTube algorithm, get me more views. See you guys in the next episode, and I hope you guys enjoy this video.